And it goes a little something like this.
What's up, Ada Gang? Welcome into Adapt Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. I'm fired up there after listening to that little intro there. And I just want to start off by just saying sorry to everybody here. We're just running a couple of minutes late. I swear it's like when you least expect it is when you always have technical issues. And so myself, Rob, and Cal backstage trying to just make sure that we've got everything ready to roll here to give you guys a wonderful experience. But just also want to take the time to say happy Saturday for anybody who's taken the time to tune in here, as we are live every other weekend here. Now we're going to be switching things up here this week and next week. We're going to be streaming, of course, right now and the following week. We'll break down some of that scheduling, but this is a deep dive into everything World Mobile. As always, if you guys enjoy this type of content, please smash that thumbs up on the way in. If you want more, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions, comments, or maybe just concerns, feel free to voice off there in the live chat. We always try to make sure to take your questions here. But then for anybody who's also watching as a part of the replay, I'll make sure to try to answer as many of those questions there as well. And so I'm looking backstage. Both of the co-hosts are ready. If you guys can just give me the thumbs up here, I'll get you guys up. But it sounds like, Rob, you're ready to roll. Cal, are you good? All right. So without any further ado, we have Rob, aka Trekpool, and we also have Clover Nodes giving us a little fireworks show there. Gentlemen, welcome up. How are y'all?
Doing good. What's going on?
Not much. Another Saturday. I just got back from pumping some iron, and I'm now ready to talk a little bit about World Mobile. Cal, how's your Saturday going, man?
Good. It started very early. I went for a little run, and I'm out here in the office right now. By the way, how's my connection? I had a little restart, so should be a little bit better.
Actually,
not,
you're clear, and we can hear you nice as well. So I think the reset did the trick.
I was going to say the only thing is it looks like maybe your camera got tilted forward. We're getting like the top of your forehead cut off.
What about if I duck a little bit?
Where'd your neck go?
that works too. Want to just take a moment just to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. We've got Blistering Earth Nodes. We've got Adarsh, who was here super early. Thank you there for being patient. Coin Farah, aka Will, from the Nuvola team. Always a pleasure to see. Thank you for tuning in. We've got Dreamin' Forest. We've got Dre as always. Now this one's a little Cardano meme. This is my first time seeing you here. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Villian, as always, good to see you here as well. We've got the one and only Batman. Looking forward to seeing you in the costume at the upcoming Rare Evo, which of course you're going to be plugging here in just a moment. Also got the one and only Kristen. It's good to see you. It's been a minute. Oceana Goon on the well, I don't know if Oceana Goon is still in North Carolina at this point, but definitely good to see you here as well. Wave Nodes. Big thanks. I appreciate you tuning in. It means a lot. And we've also got none other than Jeff, aka Delta Nodes. All the OGs here. Again, thank you all for tuning in. We've got quite the show here. We're going to try to keep this to roughly about an hour. But of course, if this ends up being a little bit more, that's always okay. Make sure to, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to engage and leave a comment down below. In terms of topics for today, we're going to be jumping into the Spark AirNode sale, which is actually sold out. There's some information about Mobile World Congress 2025. And then there's also a little bit of an update here as it pertains to the World Mobile Chain entering phase 3. As we're getting ready, or we're on the road to the official Mainnet launch. Now, there's a couple of additional topics here that the guys have helped me to put together as well. And so again, wanted to give them the opportunity to also break some of those bits of content down. But I also want to go ahead and just thank them here as we are getting the show started. So if you guys, again, have not already seen Cal. If you guys have not seen Rob here, they are World Mobile ambassadors. By far, I would say some of the most involved ones here that I personally know. And the links to their X accounts are down below. If you guys have not given them a follow, please take the opportunity to go ahead and do so. Not only are you going to be staying up to date with World Mobile, they're also very plugged into the Cardano ecosystem. And if you just want to keep up with this particular community, make sure to also follow the official World Mobile Alliance X account, which is also linked down there as a part of today's video description. Now that we've got the intro out of the way, let's just right on in, guys. I mean, this has been a pretty jam-packed week, and maybe I'll turn it over to Cal first because he helped to put this agenda together. But there's a lot of really big key bullet points here that you've highlighted. Would love to maybe hear about, what's got you most excited, and maybe the first thing that you want to jump into, maybe work, from top down, or if you just want to jump into something in particular, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, let's do the Spark AirNodes. So recently there was another sale of Spark AirNodes in Pakistan. There was about 4,000 nodes that were sold out within minutes. And that usually works out the same every single sale. What I really liked about this sale is how easy it was to navigate everything and how smooth the whole entire sale went. I can talk for many people, but I didn't really see many complaints on the chats when people were purchasing these AirNodes. So congratulations to the dev team on their work on the back end, and that sale went very smooth. I'm looking forward to the next sale whenever that comes up. Recently, we had our payout for the month of March, and normally these payouts take about 10 to 15 days, and this one came through very fast for almost all AirNode operators, regardless if you were paid in stablecoins or if you were paid in fiat. So again, kudos to the team for distributing these funds faster than normal. I'm sure a lot of people wanted to buy that dip that we're seeing right now. And besides that, there was a few, community updates. There was an AirNode operators call in Discord that happened last week. There was a lot of new people that joined, and it's overall really good to see the community grow. It's good to see new people start to join these AirNode sales. It's good to see also new operators join these community calls, and it's overall really good to see the sharing economy explode the way it has been exploding. And recently we've seen some really good marketing come out of Pakistan. Episode 2 was just dropped of the marketing campaign. So I personally really enjoy these marketing campaigns, and I love to see firsthand, who's utilizing the network, where's the network deployed, which cities. I like to see people that are actually using it and how it benefits them. So if you haven't seen the video, YouTube X, it was released yesterday, I believe. So that was good. Besides that, there's so much we can talk about. Recently, the team is just nonstop as usual. We have a pretty jam-packed agenda. I know we only have an hour, but PwC, SKChain, that was probably by far my favorite drop last week when it was announced. I think everyone was waiting for that, and I think PwC in general is just so huge, and I don't really think people understand what it's about to happen once they start releasing and what they're building on the World Mobile Chain. But not only that, when a big player joins World Mobile Chain, that would attract more companies and more operations like PwC and SKChain wanting to build on the World Mobile Chain. So now that we're nearing Mainnet, or Dev Mainnet actually, which should be coming in April, we might even start seeing more companies joining the World Mobile Chain. So that's just exciting to see everything unfold in front of us. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice intro, nice summary there, Cal. I definitely do appreciate that. I'm excited about a lot of things to break down, but I want to jump into the video that you actually just highlighted for anybody that hasn't seen it. And it's roughly about 2 minutes. And then Rob, we're going to come over to you to talk about this recent Spark AirNode sale. And then I would really love to dive a little bit deeper into sort of the road towards mainnet. So without any further ado, let's take a look here at this very, very brief piece. And again, this is sort of just touching on the impact that World Mobile has when it comes to Pakistan, of course, just one of the many countries which they'll be expanding into.
Facing a public outcry after 3 weeks of disrupted internet services.
These disruptions cost Pakistan $1.62 billion.
This is what the internet looks like in Pakistan these days.
Internet users across Pakistan are up in arms over slow connectivity.
Most people in Pakistan are earning less than $4 to $5 a day. To get connected currently, they may be spending 2 or 3 days worth of salary a month. We've partnered with a local ISP, WorldCall, to deploy a revolutionary DePIN internet network, leveraging a global sharing economy to rapidly expand access to reliable, affordable connectivity in Pakistan.
My name is Mohammad Umar Afzal, and I am doing my bachelor's in software engineering from ISC Lahore. Software engineering is a field which I'm very passionate about because it involves creativity, problem solving, and technology. My last internet service provider was too slow. Due to the poor connection, I was unable to submit my assignment on time. I switched to World Mobile after hearing the positive reviews of their fiber to the home service. The speed and reliability was a key factors in my decisions.
So World Mobile has created a new economic model for telecommunications. We are encouraging local communities to be empowered to run and operate a network so that not only do they have better connectivity, but they also have opportunities to make money.
World Mobile has improved my online experience very much. I no longer face slow downloads, buffering, and constant interruptions.
Anyone in the world can purchase a Spark AirNode on the AirNode sales platform, helping to connect communities in Pakistan and earning a share of the revenue generated from subscribers.
My internet experience has improved a lot. And yes, now I can count on my internet service, which is World Mobile.
I love it. It's the real world impact for me. And you mentioned a word that I want to really key in on here. And then Rob, I'm coming over to, I promise. I'm just excited. I have to get this off my chest. It's the marketing. It's the real world impact. Being able to see the amount of time that this team has taken, not only to deploy their Spark AirNodes and all of the infrastructure that they need to be able to make an impact in Pakistan, but it's also to be able to hear it, right? And so my thing is I'm in the USA, and I know I don't want to generally speak for all of us, but the majority of us that do watch some of this content are in the USA, but crypto and what World Mobile is offering is much bigger than that. And to be able to see the actual impact that they've had, you know, with real people in Pakistan, I think is massive. I know that in Zanzibar, we saw a very similar series and types of content. Like, for example, Rob, you've mentioned the Smart Village video, and there's been other types of videos where we've heard from from people that have been really impacted, I should say, on the ground in Zanzibar. And I'm really looking forward to seeing more of these types of marketing videos here coming out from World Mobile. I think this is something that differentiates them from a lot of other sort of crypto or Web3 based projects, is the fact that they're able to tie this back to the real world and then give us these types of content or these types of videos that really go past crypto. If you think about it, and if you rewatch that entire video, crypto was not mentioned once. The World Mobile chain itself wasn't mentioned once, but what they talked about was the service, the actual impact that they've had, and some of the issues that people in Pakistan have, with my biggest realization being that, like, some people are spending 2 to 3 days worth of their salary, monthly salary, just on internet, where some of us here in the USA, you know, jump on YouTube, jump on Twitter, Instagram, Discord without even thinking twice. And so, yeah, I just want to just commend the team for not only listening to the community when it came to the Spark node sale, making sure that was a smooth experience, but then also giving us here a glimpse of the impact that they have in Pakistan. And I know we're going to dive into the numbers here in just a moment, but I'm really, really, really surprised at how fast the sharing economy has grown, with now over 22,000 AirNodes currently live connected on the Explorer. And of course, if you're new here, you may not realize, but the team always keeps an ace up their sleeve. So I'm sure that this is not the scope of the full sort of network or infrastructure, that there's probably more AirNodes out there than we know or recognize. But what they're at least willing to acknowledge is 22,000. And looking back about a year ago, I think we took some guesses and some bets. And I think I'm busted already. Like, I think I've voted or guessed roughly around 75 to maybe 10,000 AirNodes. And in a matter of a month or two, we've deployed that many alone. So again, the excitement here jumping off of me, but Rob, I've got to let you speak as well. What are your thoughts about the most recent video, the Spark AirNode, and just the marketing overall for World Mobile?
I mean, I like saying it. I've said it before. I used to live in Pakistan, and so seeing some of those shots, I wasn't in. I went to Lahore. I went to Islamabad, but I didn't live there. But seeing those shots, it's familiar to me. It's nice to see those things, and seeing how World Mobile is fulfilling its promise, fulfilling its mission. Knowing that it started in a fishing village in Tanzania, it spread to Zanzibar, Mozambique, Pakistan, the Philippines. Like, this is not right now. There's a push happening in the United States, but this is not a first world only mission to make money, right? They're expanding in multiple areas, and they're providing connectivity. They're doing what they set out to do, and we're seeing it in real time. And I think it's really cool because it seems like there's a lull, and then there's something big that happens, and we just keep taking those steps. You can't be running all the time. You have to backfill. You have to get the infrastructure in place, and World Mobile does that. And like you said, in the matter of a month, 2 months, we've had, I think the last drop was 6,000 before this, 6,000 AirNodes, and there was 4,000. So like 10,000 AirNodes came out just in the last couple of months, right? When we started doing this a year and a half ago on YouTube, I think it was like 400 AirNodes. Right, we had like 400, and we're like, this is really, really cool. And now we're 22,000 that we know about. It's growing, and we're seeing it happen in real time. And I think when we start to see other countries look at the models that we're deploying, with Pakistan, with World Call, right? That partnership there, where we are not the ISP. In Pakistan, we are partnering with the ISP to expand the network and provide better connectivity, and to bring the software and engineering to that area, right? So we don't have to go somewhere and set up our own network and do everything. That's an option. But when I think other companies like Dito in the Philippines, it's going to be very similar, I believe, to World Call, in that we are going to help expand what they are doing. That's where you get really gain traction, and you can supercharge what you're doing, because they already have infrastructure in place to say, hey, we need this to enhance what we're doing. We're not trying to recreate the wheel, right? We're doing that in places where it needed to happen, but places like Pakistan, places like the Philippines, where it's there, and we're finding ways to enhance what they're doing. That gives us a leg just to keep running, instead of stopping, thinking, reinventing, and then slowly starting over again. So again, that's why I love that World Mobile is not this cookie cutter approach. It's not a one size fits all. There's different things that are catered to the area, but we're finding ways to get embedded, to get into places throughout the world. We saw that Antonio just talked about, or just signed a trial run deal in Argentina. We know that they've given out equipment to do some test runs in other countries as well. We know that a list the length of my arm of countries that are on a waiting list wanting to get in. And so seeing what they're doing in Pakistan, seeing how this is working, getting those real life testimonials, this just shows you there is a need, there is a demand, and we have the solution. And I'm really, really excited to be a part of that.
Nicely put. And again, want to just take the opportunity for anybody who's just seeing Rob and Cal, please follow both of these gentlemen here. We've also got Emiraya, aka CB Chat in the house. Good to see you here, CB. Definitely would love to get you back on one of these shows here. You're a huge contributor, and I know also a host, working together alongside Cal. I want to say it's in the Las Vegas, the Reno area, if I'm not mistaken. Now, we've got a really good question, which has come in here from RH, and I don't want to put Cal on the spot here, but I do want to definitely take the opportunity to answer this. And so RH asked, with no mainnet, how do you guys know if we're actually getting paid, right, from paying customers, or is this just sort of a trust me bro movement? And so I know that Cal, which appears to be frozen at this point, maybe he's trying to sign in here.
Frozen.
Has,
I was just thinking.
okay.
My brain
like,
is
man,
always
like
never frozen. I'm just reading comments and thinking. I'm here.
Yeah. No, good. And so I just wanted to maybe just give you the opportunity just to break down. You don't have to share your screen if you're not able to. That's completely fine. But just break down, what you are able to see from the dashboard, which lets you know, from a owner's perspective or an operator's perspective, who's been connecting and actually using data, et cetera. Again, I just want to make sure that we're able to briefly touch on this question, which is coming from RH, which is a valid question given the mainnet.
It definitely is a valid question. And without these users being on chain, we can 100% verify, obviously. And this is why mainnet or dev mainnet will be so important, because it will bring all of these paying customers on chain and you'll be able to verify everything. But however, I'm reading CB's comment. He says, Reno, Nevada, baby. Yeah. So that reminds me, I was in Reno with a buddy of mine, Jeff from Delta EarthNodes, right? Rob was supposed to be there. He was at another special place, but we got to visit a few of the AirNodes up there. Actually a few of my AirNodes that were up there, we got to visit. And these AirNodes are being servicing actual customers. One of them was on top of a barbershop. It's servicing the barbershop. There is a few connections around that area that are utilizing broadband. So this is where the paying customers are coming from. Obviously, they're not on chain yet, so you can't really verify it. So you're going to have to take my word for it. But that's coming very soon, right? I mean, you're seeing the videos from the marketing team, and not too long from now, you'll be able to actually verify all that on chain.
Perfect, and thank you. So hopefully, RH, that answers your question there. Again, CB, I'll make sure to reach out if you want to jump on one of these shows. I think it'd be a good opportunity for us to just catch up and get your thoughts and take as a host as to, the sharing economy and how things have been working on that end. Now, there's one more very, very brief video that I do want to play here again, expanding on Pakistan, and then we're going to keep the conversation moving just to make sure that we are respecting everybody's time here. Again, thank you all for tuning in. If you guys appreciate the content, please smash that thumbs up. If you guys want more, consider subscribing, and of course, make sure to engage. All right, let's jump into this very last clip here when it comes to Pakistan, and then we'll keep things rolling.
जब का वर्ल्ड मोबाइल नेट तक आया तब से मैं इससे बहुत राजी हूँ। मेरी गेमिंग, मेरी स्टडी, हर चीज़ बहुत अच्छी चल रही है। हमने पहले काफ़ी नेट लगवाए हैं, वो सही नहीं चलते थे। और अभी ये बहुत अच्छे जा रहे हैं। मेरी ऑनलाइन क्लासेस जो थी इफस की, वो भी अच्छी जा रही हैं। वर्ल्ड मोबाइल जिंदाबाद। वर्ल्ड कार और वर्ल्ड मोबाइल जिंदाबाद.
Together, let's connect the world.
I love it. Again, very, very nice and inspiring to see, and
Awesome.
just to even see the young, the young boys, getting plugged in and connected. And I know from a gamer's perspective, I mean, I used to game super hard, and I know you can't do that without reliable internet. And so I'm sure that they're happy that they're able to be connected, obviously supporting World Mobile and their needs being met when it comes to internet reliability, etc. Now, what I'm excited about as well is the fact that we're at least hopefully going to be seeing more of this type of content when it comes to the Philippines, right? Given sort of the expansion and the onboarding that we've seen there with the partnership with DITO. And so again, if anybody has any questions when it comes to Pakistan, now will be the time to drop them there in the live chat. Otherwise, let's keep the conversation going. Cal, earlier you mentioned a really interesting partnership with SKChain. Would you mind maybe just briefly diving into that? And then Rob will swing your way to sort of get your input there on that topic there as well.
Yeah, so the partnership was with PwC as well as SKChain. So who is PwC? Maybe we should break that down. So PwC essentially is a global network of firms with over I think 370,000 employees. They're providing advisory and tax services, and they're a huge global company. SKChain Advisors is a consulting firm specializing in blockchain tech. So according to World Mobile's blog post, they basically are tailored to deliver advisory services, to clients looking to leverage blockchain tech in different meaningful ways. So what is this partnership going to be essentially be doing, right? I mean, they're basically, it's actually PwC Italy, from what I can remember, in combination with SKChain Advisors. They're both going to be developing a digital identity solution built on blockchain based self-sovereign identity, which is essentially SSI tech. And this will enable European countries and enterprises, customers to securely and compliantly store their digital identifications. So when you combine the three powerhouses, which is PwC Italy, the SKChain, as well as World Mobile Chain, you get a SSI framework that's going to be scaled, and it's obviously going to dominate the space, right? I mean, this is a compliant solution that these three partners are bringing. So I think this partnership is going to be, like I said, massive, and it's going to set the stage for I guess regulated power digital identity systems to become the norm. If you really think about it, we all are entering a digital age nowadays. So owning your own identity, and it's going to be something very, very important moving forward. You see how much data is being utilized by all of the AI services nowadays. So having a compliant solution that's actually built on top of the World Mobile Chain is gonna revolutionize this space. And I also want to remind everyone that the EarthNode operators are going to be essentially running the World Mobile Chain. So all of that revenue is going to come back to the sharing economy, and it's going to be shared, and the EarthNode operators are going to be earning from that. So big bullish.
Thank you. I definitely do appreciate that. Rob, what are your thoughts about sort of the partnership, the services, and maybe what World Mobile stands to benefit?
Well, I think the important thing is just like with World Call and DITO, and our expansion in Pakistan and the Philippines, what World Mobile is doing is they are finding the very best here, and they're saying, we're not going to reinvent the wheel. We aren't going to try and build our own thing in-house for our own accounting auditing solutions. We're not going to try to come from nowhere and try to make this a powerhouse. We're going to reach out. We're going to find the very, very best that want to work with us and can provide us solutions. And hopefully we can provide them with solutions too. A lot of partnerships are they use the word partnership, but it's one way. You're paying for services. You know, I always like to joke with you know, hey, my Cardano stake pool has partnered with Walmart, and any delegator that stakes with my stake pool can go to Walmart and get anything they want from Walmart as long as they pay Walmart the money. Okay, that's typically what a partnership means, and it's usually service is one way, money back another way. No, we're paying you for help, and what I like here is that what PwC, what they're doing, what they're building and providing is something that we are then able to go back and provide as a service. You know, hopefully when World Mobile looks at things, it's not a give us something, we'll give you money. And I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's how World operates. It's we have something that you're able to utilize. Imagine, I mean, this is a big four accounting firm in the world. This is a Fortune 500 company. Imagine being able to take what World Mobile does, the solutions that World Mobile has, in conjunction with what they're doing for us, and spread it out amongst their reach and their access. Right? That's why SEW is such a big deal. 1.2 billion customers worldwide for smart electricity and water. Right? This isn't. It's not, oh yeah, we have a small use case here. Here's 1,000 people that are going to be utilizing your telephone company. This is no, we're integrating into SEW amongst their worldwide access, right? If we can do the same thing with something like PwC, and all of a sudden now it's not just they're advising us and they're building these things for it. It's we're going back and forth, and they're now using our solutions for their reach. And all that does is that expands what World Mobile has the ability to do, right? That expands the daily user. So some people won't even know that they're using World Mobile. They won't know that they're using the blockchain. They won't know that these things are happening when they are. Others, they might be associated with World Mobile in another way. Maybe that's their telecoms company, right? They switch their cell phone over. Then they find out, oh, by the way, I am now invested in this because of how I do my investments or how I operate my business. I'm now utilizing World Mobile. I didn't even know it. And I say that's why these types of partnerships are so big, is because there's a reach beyond those dollars and cents. There's a reach beyond that what's on the surface. And I think the more we can integrate with the right people, and we're seeing this happening. The more integrated, the better the reach, the more opportunity there's going to be for World Mobile to build and grow credibility and get a customer base, funds, income, number go up, however you want to look at it, right? The more we can find ways to become a part of what's going on, at some point we're going to be relied upon by everybody. It won't be a theory anymore.
And I wanted to take the opportunity here because there is a lot of information. And for me, as a creator, sometimes it's really hard to connect the dots. And so with World Mobile, they're obviously building their chain. But for anybody who's missed it or just hasn't maybe sort of connected the dots, this will be deployed on their chain. And as Rob and Cal both mentioned, imagine the amount of traffic. Now, I want to just take a step back and talk a little bit more about the European Digital Identity Wallet and sort of this regulation, which is called EIDAS 2.0, which sort of put this in motion. And so let me just briefly bring this up here, where it states that the foundational basis for this work has been the thorough review of that particular bit of regulation that I just mentioned. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into that, which introduces the European Digital Identity Wallet for all citizens in the EU. Now, briefly pivoting, if you guys missed this, the Cardano Foundation has also recently been focusing on digital identity and DIDs, right? And so they've just released what's called Viridian, or the Viridian wallet, which is used to sort of safekeep or to store personal identifiable information, or PII. And again, I feel like this is very similar, but this is going to be specific to the World Mobile Chain. And so as I jump back into the article
that was a cool wallet. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna have to dive a little bit deeper into that there as well. But like, that's what I love to see. And so when you sort of mentioned this, like, that's where my mind went to, was this Viridian wallet. But just sort of trying to draw some parallels there. And so I want to read two more brief sections and then we'll keep the conversation rolling, where it states that this solution is currently under development and it'll be deployed on the World Mobile Chain, the first layer 3 protocol developed on the base network. Obviously, the World Mobile Chain is sort of what we're waiting on now. We're going to dive into that a little bit deeper. But it continues on stating, the chain is designed for European enterprises operating within the digital economy as well as traditional businesses. So this is not specific to anybody who's looking to leverage Web3 only. In addition, the SSI will streamline access for companies looking to leverage compliant identity solutions in the blockchain space. So the way that I look at this is, whether or not a business is coming in for Web3 needs or not, they're most likely still going to have to go through or so interact with the chain in a way to get their wallet set up. So whether it's directly interacting with World Mobile or indirectly, there will be some sort of benefit back to the World Mobile Chain. And so as I dive in just a little bit deeper here into the actual European identity regulation, it states here that this was introduced back on April 24th, or excuse me, on April 30th of 2024, where it states that according to this type of regulation, EU member states must provide a digital identity wallet to citizens up to 24 months after the adoption of implementing acts. Now, this is where, again, things get really interesting. So the European digital identity will be available to EU citizens, residents, and businesses who want to identify themselves or provide confirmation of certain personal information. It can be used for both online and offline public and private services across the EU. And in closing, every EU citizen and resident in the Union will be able to use a personal digital wallet. Now, I don't know off the top of my head how many people reside within the EU, but let's just maybe just take 10, 15, 20% of whatever that number is. And let's just assume that they have a wallet that is created or somehow linked back to the World Mobile Chain. I mean, that is a lot of activity, a lot of reliability, and a lot of interaction and engagement for World Mobile. And so I'm just trying to think bigger picture here. You know, this is the type of momentum that we want to start to see building up for World Mobile, not just crypto specific ideas or crypto specific businesses that want to launch, but fixing and addressing SSI or just broader things, right, that still give the World Mobile Chain benefits, but then is also able to touch people outside of crypto and Web3. So I just want to dive a little bit deeper into that. Maybe we'll swing back over to Cal. If you have any closing thoughts here as it relates to PwC, what they're building, SSI solutions. If not, I think there's a couple of other topics that we can jump into.
I just want to add that the World Mobile Chain was built exactly for that. You know, it's a scalable chain that supports exactly these type of initiatives. And World Mobile put out a pretty good thread, and it kind of described, you know, the World Mobile Chain, and they mentioned in that thread that telecom needs more than just a blockchain. And obviously this chain was optimized exactly for that, you know, for fast confirmations, for, you know, microtransactions, for real utility. So Faridi just mentioned how many people are going to be required to have this digital wallet in Europe. So you can only imagine, you know, that there needs to be a blockchain specifically designed for, you know, real world use and real world speed and scale. So this is exactly what the World Mobile Chain is built for.
I agree. Rob, any last or closing comments here? All right. If not, let's keep the conversation rolling, as there's quite a bit here. So next, we've either got Mobile World Congress, or we've got Argentina, or not Argentina, Antonio, who's down in Argentina, who's been teasing and signing some paperwork down there. Let's maybe jump into that first. So for anybody who isn't aware, I want to say, and maybe he's changed positions, Antonio was the chief technical officer. Is that correct? I believe
He's
so.
co-founder.
Okay, so he's actually co-founder. But if you guys aren't aware, he's currently in Argentina. And this was a post that was actually made by the official World Mobile team not too long ago, but they've taken some next steps here with their CPO and co-founder, Antonio, who's now in Buenos Aires. And they're now, it looks like at least, getting ready to start deploying AirNodes there as well. Now, I have to mention the existing ties to Argentina for anyone who isn't aware when it just comes to Cardano. Now, granted, World Mobile is bigger than Cardano, but we do understand and realize that there is a big portion of their community that does come from Cardano or from the Cardano ecosystem. And so we had the recent, oh my goodness, the Constitutional Convention. My brain is like 2 steps behind today. I don't know what's going on. But we had the recent Constitutional Convention in Argentina. Charles was out there. The majority of the delegates that were in representation of, I want to say, over like 60 or 70 different countries are all over there as well. We've seen Frederick Regard in Argentina as well, where they've already signed MOUs with the province of Entre Rios in order to provide, I believe it was social security services. There's also a plan for developing a system to track student attendance on the Cardano blockchain. And there were a couple of other services which they were sort of aiming to use a Cardano blockchain for. But this is exactly what we want to see. The fact that Cardano is already sort of at the forefront when it comes to Argentina. And obviously, Charles and Mickey being very good friends, could there maybe have been some talks about, targeting Argentina together? Maybe, but would love to get some of your guys' takes here and just want to remind the community that there is a lot already going on in Argentina when it comes to blockchain and crypto. And to see this happening in addition to all of that, I think is very reassuring, not just for Argentina, but for the World Mobile community here as well. And so that said, maybe Rob, we jump to you first on this one. Any thoughts about what's going on out there and what we could potentially expect?
Well, we see what they signed was it was an MOU for basically a trial run to show what World Mobile can do, and they signed it with that Corrientes province, right? Which is, if you look at a map of Argentina, I think there's 23 provinces. Think of them as states, here in the U.S. There's 23 of them, and this has, I think it's like 1.7 million people, and it's the 10th most populous, 10th biggest population as far as states go. There's some that are a lot bigger. There's 45 million people in Argentina, I believe, is what the Google told me. So it's a nice area. There's a couple of bigger cities. There's some rural areas. You can look there. It's 2 states above where Buenos Aires is, and so you're touching Brazil right there. I believe. You think then there's I need to look at the actual map to speak to that. But you're gonna have mountainous, you're gonna have rainforest, you're gonna have cities, you're gonna have there's gonna be a variety of things going on here. So I think it's an ideal place to test, to show off. Look, these are the solutions that we bring for these different zones. This is what we can offer you, and I think there's a lot of opportunity in South America. I think there's a lot of I think Argentina is one that's at the forefront of this, and so it's makes, and plus look at what's happened politically in Argentina over the last couple of years, right? They've gone from a very, very socialist state to now you have like an anarchist libertarian guy as the president. So you're getting very limited government. You're getting a lot more conservative as far as spending your money and spending other people's money, right? And so this fits in with that whole thing of, this isn't going to be a state-sponsored thing necessarily. They're going to let us come in and provide the types of solutions that we have. And hey, if it enriches people and it gets the government out of their pockets, and it gets us from gets the government to a position where it's a neutral. I think they said this is the first year, and I don't know how long that that Argentina has not had a deficit, right? They're going very, very hard looking at solutions that aren't going to fleece their company or their country, strip mine their country. And that's why World Mobile makes sense. It keeps money within the community. It gives people opportunity, right? And it brings value because of the connectivity. And so this is, I think that World Mobile is meant for this. This is exactly the type of thing that World Mobile is going to, be able to say, look, this is what we can do for you. It's in line with what you're trying to do as a nation. And so, again, very, very excited to see this happening here. I'm very anxious to watch this trial run going. I don't know how long it's going to be for, but because it might take some time to get set up and everything too. But I think as World Mobile really shows off what it can do, people feel the effects of it positively with their connectivity, with their opportunity, with their bank accounts. It's something that is not taking away from it being a net negative for the country. I think that they're going to look to this and say, we want the solution. And then now we would be firmly embedded. If that were the case, we would be firmly embedded in South America to branch out, hopefully a lot easier to other countries that want similar solutions. So I think there's a great opportunity here. I think it's in line with the ethos of the new administration in Argentina. And I'm very, very anxious to see this succeed.
Thank you, Robin. You hit on a lot of really good points there. For anybody who isn't aware, let me just briefly bring this up here. This is where we currently stand, right? With over 1.7 million daily active users, nearly $375,000 worth of AirNode rewards have been paid out. And as we just discussed, 22,000 AirNodes. Now imagine if we get the green light following this sort of test run or this trial run. Now I'm going to jump back over here. When it comes to the Corrientes province, they have, as Rob mentioned, nearly 1.2 million people there. Again, let's just take 5, 10, 15, 20%, that maybe somehow are tying back or connecting to AirNodes. I mean, you're looking at a massive number here. And that's without even talking about Philippines, the continuous rollout in the USA. And so I feel like there's just a lot of key pieces that are finally coming together. And it's good to see Antonio there on the ground, signing these MOUs and getting the exposure for World Mobile out there. Cal, any thoughts here about the recent MOU signing?
Well, first of all, this MOU came out of nowhere, right? I mean, I can safely say that everyone from the community was very, very excited when they saw it happen, and it kind of took everyone back by surprise. And I think this is the exact initiatives that set World Mobile apart from the competition. And you guys see how hard this team works day and night. Not too long ago, we actually saw the Dito partnership with over 13 million customers that are coming on chain on the World Mobile chain. And obviously this is a MVNO that works in the Philippines, but we also heard that there is an MVNO that was signed as well that's coming in the United States. So there's a lot of different partnerships that are coming in fruition here. And Antonio did say that in his post, actually, that this province in the Argentine, Corrientes, is actually ripe for all of this. And Faridi just posted 1.3 million customers that live there, or potential customers, I should say. What makes me think here is once this network starts in this province, what stops surrounding countries from joining the sharing economy? This is a proof of concept, but this proof of concept is becoming a reality. I mean, you guys have seen what's happening in Pakistan right now. Like how many customers are coming online? How many jobs has World Mobile created with this sharing economy, and how many more jobs are going to be created in Argentina now, and how many more jobs are going to come throughout South America? What stops Brazil from now joining the sharing economy, or any other country for for that matter. And Argentina is really an excellent country with a huge Web3 adoption. So I know World Mobile is very strategic when it comes to choosing which countries they sign MOUs with. And I don't think Argentina was, I don't think, how should I put this? I don't think Argentina was like a bad choice per se, because we're seeing like the Lace Wallet team opening up an office there. We're seeing Cardano put their focus there. We're seeing the Ethereum founder Vitalik, he's doing a bunch of development work down there. So having a community owned network in South America will, like I said, put a lot of these surrounding countries on notice, and they're going to be paying very close attention to what the power of the sharing economy is going to do in a country like Argentina. And I can't wait for it to explode like it's been exploding in Pakistan, and I have no doubt that it's going to do the same exact thing.
Again, just a reminder of how early we truly are here when it comes to the sharing economy. And I'm, sort of zoomed in on the map here, but I don't think it's a coincidence that the province of Entre Rios is right there. I believe you can see my cursor now. And then right next to it is Corrientes. And so the fact that the CF is literally digging their heels in right here, and then World Mobile is right next door, I would not be surprised if everything goes well in Corrientes, and then the governor in Entre Rios is maybe interested, right? And then, as you mentioned, other provinces sort of just tag along. And then before we know it, other countries in South America also tag along. And so the fact that I think they've been welcoming to crypto and blockchains, I think will pay dividends. They're obviously taking a risk, right? And let's just be very frank and clear about that. There are projects and things that will not work out. But in terms of World Mobile, I believe that here, all of us obviously believe in not just their mission, but the actual services that they provide. And so again, really, really interesting piece of content there to come out from Antonio, and love the fact that this was actually sort of kept under wraps until the actual signing, right? I don't think this is something that they probably would have wanted to share prematurely and then have to walk it back. And so I kind of like that style. I know that some people don't really like the teases where it's like, hey, something big is coming. But instead really just showing us after the fact and really catching a lot of people off guard here. And I know Rob always says it, but like when this team goes quiet, you know that there's something that's going to be big coming up next. So I believe that will do it there for that particular piece. Again, if you guys do enjoy the stream, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. We've got David, aka Studio Malaka, tuning in here. We've got Does God Play Dice also tuning in here. Again, just wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you. Thug Nasty in the building, and CB Emiraya, want to just wish you a quick and speedy recovery as you've just got from a surgery. Okay, I believe we maybe got the time to jump into one last and final topic here before we take a look at closing thoughts. So I want to maybe just turn it over to either of you. We've got the Switch Node post, which has just been released, I should say, by Christian Reese. There's also Mobile World Congress or the Road to Mainnet. What do you guys want to jump into?
I think we would touch on Mainnet. I think we've kind of covered a lot of that other stuff. Mobile World Congress was in February, so Mainnet's is kind of on the horizon for everybody.
Let's do that, and then also let's highlight a recent post from Christian that just came out. So,
I was thinking Rare Evo. I feel like the list continues on. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do: Mainnet, Christian Reese, and then we'll end out with the Rare Evo plug. Rob, if you want to maybe jumpstart us here with the Mainnet, feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, well, they just announced just a few hours ago that the dev mainnet is going on now, and this is different than the actual functional mainnet that everyone's using. Everyone can see 100% plugged in. This is, hey, this is our setup. We reserve the right if we have to restart it or do something else with it, but this is. We're building the layout, and they've already brought a few people on to try it out. In fact, Nico, for everyone that knows Nico Verboven from down in the Chile and Argentina region, One time he told me he lived in Chile. One time he said he's right across the border in Argentina. I'm not sure. I mean, I live on the border of 2 states, so I go back and forth as well. But Nico got on the Telegram and the Discord to say, guys, we're trying to do a DDoS raid right now. We want to try and overload the system with things, so everybody jump on and try and help us out. They are actively trying to break this, or actively trying to see what kind of a load this thing can take, because they already have a very good setup and structure in place. And so I think it's exciting to know that once this dev mainnet is given the initial green light, it says, hey, we can handle the loads, we can handle everything, we're processing real transactions. Then the Earth nodes turn on, and we start with the cursory functions, and then they get bigger and bigger until the full load is there, until all the options are there, and everything is up and running and humming. And I think the reality is they're making big steps. Remember, they're doing something that's never been done before. There's no just copy paste approach to this. They're building this out. They've been given money by Base to figure out some problems that they've run into that Base hasn't run into yet. We're building on Base, and so it's cool to see that we're actually making headway with this. We're front running. We're pushing this new thing out. And so I think when you take a step back and you take a breath, you realize, okay, I don't need to be so eager about everything happening. I mean, I get anxious about it myself. I do. I worry, am I going to be able to operate everything just fine? Because you don't know what you don't know, right? And I think that they're trying to take a lot of that guesswork out of it. And what that does, that puts a lot of people on edge about things, because everyone wants to go, everyone wants to be a part of it. But what they don't want is, they don't want to open up to all of us and then have everybody fail because it's not ready to go. And so they're making big strides. They're doing things that have never been done before. And I think that they've done a good job of preparing it, laying the groundwork for us to come in, and we're a step closer. And obviously they're very, very excited about it. They're making posts on X about it. They're talking about it in the Discord. Nico's trying to encourage people to come and help trash it. And I want to say one other thing. I promised Dodo I would say a while back, but so you're watching like the college sports games or something. You have people always holding up signs and everything, and it's been kind of an internet meme to say send nudes, right? And so it's kind of a funny, perverted, whatever. But with this test net going on, people were making lots of transactions. Well, Dodo made something up called nudes, and I mean, there's nothing other than it's a piece of it's a line of code, right? It's like a junk token. There's no image or anything to it. But if you open up a wallet on testnet, and Dodo was actually sending nudes, and they say you have 10,000 nudes in your wallet. And so he asked me to get up here and say, hey, encourage everyone to jump on here. I'll send them some nudes. But that's the kind of the fun that people are having with this, is they're able to make these joke tokens and have fun with it. And it keeps people very lively, keeps the chats going. And so, guys like Nico, guys like Dodo, Rick Middleton, have really, really done a good job of taking ownership of this process, and are doing a lot of good things. And there's a few others that are doing amazing jobs as well, but trying to break this thing. And they've broken it. They've broken it a couple of times, and very, very excited to see that, because then it says, all right, now we have a baseline to improve. We know what's wrong. Let's fix it. Now try to do that again. And we're getting close.
Thank you there. Accelerate Profit asking for WMT instead of sending nudes. Send WMTX. I like it. Cal, before I come over to you, I do want to just briefly break down, because this did throw me for a loop as well when I first heard it, but it's the dev mainnet. So typically, at least from a software development perspective, it's like, hey, you've got a dev net, you've got a test net, and then you've got traditional mainnet. But with World Mobile and the currencies that they're at, This is sort of the dev mainnet. And so for anybody who just isn't aware, who maybe is just stuck in limbo like I was, it states here that this is a production grade environment using real WMTX and on-chain identity data. Of course, they're probably testing and integrating things like we talked about earlier with that European digital wallet. And again, this is accessible by trusted developers. So it's still somewhat of a closed environment, but it is the real thing. In closing, it says that this is the final proving ground before Mainnet goes public. Cal, what are your thoughts? I know you're also going to be an EarthNode operator. There's going to be a lot to manage here, but a lot of opportunity. So as we get ready for the real mainnet where anybody can come in, what's on your mind?
Well, the first thing what's on my mind is that you should answer your DMs. I'm just kidding. Hold
on. let me take that down.
They kind of look like mine, I'm not gonna lie. But second thought is I cannot believe that Rob is talking about degenerate stuff. Send nudes. I mean, come on, guys. This is a
Show
fun
some class,
Saturday.
Rob.
This is a fun Saturday here. Let's go back to the because you guys, both of you, touched honestly on all the key points here. You explained what the dev mainnet is going to be. Rob did an excellent job of explaining anything, but I just want to go back to the phases, and kind of explain what these phases look like for the development team and how it all started. So phase one, from what I remember on your screen, is there you go. So phase one, final test and first stage audits, right? So this is when we got into the first testnet, and we specifically EarthNode operators were testing and sending nudes and sending, all types of funny different tokens and doing a bunch of load tests. After that, phase two, a lot of audits went through and fixed a lot of the stuff that the EarthNodes broke, that the dev team was working on and broke. Phase three is more secondary audits and more, fixes and verification, obviously. So this testnets, they've been getting a lot of different variations, right? And the team right now is pretty happy with what they've gotten, and they've gotten a very stable version of this dev mainnet. So essentially, like you said, Fareed, it's essentially a network with guardrails almost, where trusted partners can join and with real WMTX, not test WMTX. They can actually transact on mainnet, and this also opens up the door to now bringing all of these 1.7 plus, if we're not counting the Minutes Network, subscribers, customers. All of these are going to come on chain, are going to be verified, and they're going to be able to transact and show all of it's real. I mean, we just had a question from someone: how are you able to verify? This is exactly how you're going to be able to verify with this dev mainnet and putting all of these people on chain. That's phase four. And phase five, after that, we're going to start actually seeing the DPoS come on chain. EarthNode software is going to be released, and I guess phase six is when we'll take off the guardrails and we're going to go public mainnet. Everyone's going to be able to deploy things on there. We're going to start seeing a bunch of other companies come online, and that's when Moon comes.
I like it.
NFA.
Yeah, I've had to learn it the hard way. I released a video not too long ago, and the market just does what it wants to do. So I'm sticking away from price talk. Rob, I mean, you're also going to be an EarthNode operator. You're going to be providing a service not just for your own EarthNodes, but also additional people that want to jump in. So I do want to give the opportunity, right, to maybe sort of just plug that in number one. But then number two, as we finally get rolling, like what's going to be your focus? And I know that you sort of got your little depot outside of your regular house where you're going to be running all your operations, but would love to just hear about your thoughts from a EarthNode operator's perspective.
So, like I said, I'm a bit anxious. I'm anxious to find out what this is going to look like, how it's going to work. It's going to be different than other nodes and things. I've mined before with GPU mining. I run a Cardano stake pool. I've looked into some other things as well, and just trying to figure out how is this going to work. We know they talked about having this be Docker images basically. I've done some Docker stuff, but it's still kind of new. It's not. Some people run Docker images for Cardano, but it's kind of rare. So it'll be interesting to see what this looks like. They still haven't come out with the formal specs on things, and then on top of that, future proofing, right? So there's a lot that goes into it, and then you try and figure out what's going to matter more for the different things that we're doing. Is latency going to matter? For those that don't know, latency is basically the connectivity between the timing between them. How quickly can it send a signal? And we're talking milliseconds, right? So how quickly can the signal get there? Is that going to be super important? It might not be for certain things. It might be crucial for other things. People that are using these connections for gaming, or people who are trying to make international calls or stream. There's going to be some different use cases, and depending on what kind of services you're offering, the VPN, the storage as a service, these things that we know about so far, what are the requirements going to be? Is it going to be better to have bare metal versus the cloud? I can tell you right now, if they're talking storage as a service, I don't know anybody, right now, who is trying to have heavy storage usage for things like Iagon or these other companies where they're providing decentralized storage that's using a cloud, because it's really, you're talking hundreds and hundreds, maybe in thousands of dollars a month to rent this out. So when a 16 terabyte hard drive, like a spinning hard drive, when that costs $200-300, right? You're not going to be paying $200-300 per month for less terabyte usage on a cloud server, right? So there's going to be, at some point, you're going to need to have some physical infrastructure if you want to run certain things and have it be cost effective, right? Finding out what that is, what that looks like, how is that going to work? Trying to figure out what will these bring in money wise. Are we talking tokens? Are we talking dollar amounts? There's different ways to gauge what the reward structure looks like and what it means. And is it going to be 100% performance based? Is it going to be the different payment structures for the different services that you offer? So there's a lot there. And then also, if you're offering a number of services, how many different servers do you need? Whether you're talking just something simple like a VDS or VPS online, or you're talking how many physical computers you need, how many virtual machines you need on a mega server. There's a lot that goes into this, and trying to figure it out. We're talking just for one Earth node, how many you're going to need. Talking about if you have multiples, or if you're trying to do things for other people. So there's a lot that goes into this, and they haven't really shared with us a lot of it, right? So I think that's where the anxiety comes from, is how do you prepare? And I think the best ways to prepare right now are just be practicing with Linux, practice Docker. There's, learn Linux, learn Linux TV on YouTube. He does a great job of doing overviews of how to run virtual machines, how to use Proxmox, how to use Docker for simple images. And so learning the basics of that, and then having amazing people like Nico, who are part of the community but are taking a lead and going to help with the teaching, the instruction, the diagrams and the references, the documentation. These are what we're gonna really rely on. And then having amazing people in the community that will be able to take that, regurgitate it, and help teach it. And we've seen that already with the testnet, with how helpful guys have been in the testnet chats. So I think there's a lot there. I think there's a lot that's coming, and it's hard to sit here when you don't know what to do. I think the one thing that World Mobile, I think that they would let us know if they were able to solidify that. People say, well, they're not communicating well, they're not doing this or that. The reality is this has never been built before. And so they're still integrating these different things and people are building. That's why there's a $25 million grant that they have given to say, hey, if you want to build in the World Mobile Chain, we will help fund what you want to do because we want things to be built. We can't do it ourselves. We want you to bring innovation to the World Mobile Chain so that we can use it for the greater community. So a lot of these things haven't happened yet. So they can't come out and tell us because the moment they tell us, something's going to change. Right. So I'm excited about it. I don't want to say I'm worried about it. I'm just anxious because there's things to do. And how do you prepare? And if there is anything that they could give us as far as, guys, be practicing this, be doing this, I think at that point, I'd hope they would let us know those things just so that we can be ready, because there's people just frothing at the mouth, waiting. They're rabid. They want to be a part of this. They want to participate. So I think we're close. I think we're there. I think there's people that are excited. I think there's people that are worried. There's people that are like me that are just anxious. What's this going to look like, and how am I going to be able to get there? Not can I do it? I don't know if I can. It's not that. It's what does this look like, and how is it going to look when it's my turn? And so I think as we get closer and closer, more is going to turn on, more is going to come out, and we're going to have a lot of opportunity to practice and to share and to encourage each other as this thing builds.
First off, a lot of people showing tons of support. Villian, Dre, and CB, all pushing you to continue to preach on. Rob, again, you really hit, I think, some really interesting points there from a technical perspective. We also have David here who's asking how he can contribute. And I think that what Rob just mentioned is a big piece of it. So we're going to need leaders within the community, and I'm talking about World Mobile specifically, that obviously understand this stuff, right? And so David, if you understand this, Rob, you understand this, Nico, you understand this, and then for you guys to sort of handhold other people. And so not only does that help to get the sharing economy up faster, but I think it also gives you guys more reputation and more credibility. And I think that here, as the Alliance, that's what we're aiming to do from like a content perspective, informational perspective. But from a technical perspective, people are definitely going to be relying on someone like you, Robin, just listening to you talk, your expertise really beginning to shine. And so for anybody who isn't aware, if you do own an EarthNode and you don't necessarily have the time, the capacity, or the knowledge to operate it on your own, there's definitely a couple of key members you can reach out here to in the community to help you get up and running. Rob being one of them. Check out his X account down below if you guys need to get in touch with them. Of course, also feel free to go ahead and leave a comment here if you are watching live. As we are getting ready to wind things down here, I do want to jump into our second to last topic, which is a tease. Now, Cal, I feel like Rob just spoke, so maybe I'll let you sort of break this one down. But Christian, highlighting something is currently in progress. I've got no clue. Would love to hear what your thoughts are on this particular one.
Oh, I just saw this one too. That was a really good post by Christian. So for those that don't know, essentially what this post means is that there is a switch in progress. And what that entails, it essentially means that Christian has now ported his number over to the World Mobile Network, or whoever obviously has done that is essentially ported their number over. So if you're, in the AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, whoever's network you are on, this person there now is going to be a World Mobile customer. And that essentially means we're very close to see the US cell phone plans launch. There's a lot of people that are always reaching out to me over DMs, Discord, Telegram, everywhere. And they're always asking me, hey, how do I help World Mobile? How do I expand this network? What can I do to help? Everyone has an extremely high desire to grow this network, and that's very exciting in itself. But I believe that this is the best way for you to help World Mobile expand the network, sign up for these cell phone plans, and that's, to me, the exact way to best help World Mobile. Jump on the website, become a network founder, right? One of the first 1,000. And that's, again, the best way to show your support and to start growing this network. And obviously, word of mouth marketing after that is going to expand this the best way possible. So, yeah, it's really good to see that we're moving super close to these cell phone plans launching. We're seeing little bits of teases here and there of how things are going to work. I've talked to Christian privately about, how is the porting of numbers going to work, and it sounds like, they've set aside some people that work for World Mobile who is going to be assisting that. First, obviously they're going to have a ton of documentation like they do already, and it walks you through all the processes how to port your number, but they'll also be essentially helping you personally if you need help to port your number. Obviously there's specific things that you can do previous to that. I encourage everyone to read what porting numbers means and how it happens. Actually, there's a little bit of personal information that has to be provided to your carrier in order to support your number. But from what I've heard, it's going to be a very, very simple and straightforward process. And World Mobile is going to be assisting with that. So exciting to see we're moving closer to cell phone plans launching in the US.
Agreed. I know that's been a big piece, right? With, again, the majority of the viewers and myself and you guys, of course, being based at the US, not just being able to jump onto the phone plans ourselves, but to be able to sort of create our own op-in operation, for lack of better terms. And so before we dive into the last piece, which is the Rare Evo plug, Rob, I do want to give you the opportunity to maybe highlight, what you thought when you saw Christian's recent post about, someone finally changing the number to the World Mobile Network service provided plan.
I'm ready. Let's do it. They came out with the if you express interest, that you have the opportunity to be a network founder and be one of the first, 1,000 people to join in. And there's perks that go with that, right? Basically, if you pay for a year in advance, you're going to get a year's, the same dollar amount in WMTX that they're going to hold and be able to stake. And eventually that'll unlock, right? So basically, it's like getting a year's plan for free. You pay it up front, but you can get that in the token. Right now, I mean, like Cal said earlier, we don't talk about token price very much, but right now the token is pretty low comparatively, right? I think there's a lot of room for it to move, and so to be able to basically pay for your cell phone plan, get that amount of token, have the ability to stake it, and believe if number is going to go up plus more token because of staking, that's a huge opportunity, right? So there's that cool thing with the network founder thing. There's the other part of saying I'm tired of AT&T, I'm tired of Verizon, I'm tired of playing these games with these telecoms companies. I want to help provide for the sharing economy by paying my phone bill. I want to be able to benefit from it by the perks that I would get with utilizing this network. I want to be able to expand it by bringing it to my area and putting up AirNodes, getting a Hex guardianship, right? There's a lot of opportunities, and this is the first way to go. You can't have a cell phone network if you don't have people paying you, right? Because you're running out of money, and it doesn't matter what cool stuff you're doing, you can't sustain it. And so this is the first step. Let's open this up. Say, look, we have a working network. Let's come over. Now let's expand that network. So yeah, this is big, and it also shows that everything else is starting to turn on, right? They wouldn't open this up if we were nowhere near a blockchain, because that goes back to the argument. Well, what do you need a blockchain for? You're just keeping records like everybody else is anyway, right? We don't want that to be that's completely against the MO of what World Mobile is doing. But we by having the blockchain, by having it up and running at the same time that we're opening up to customers, paying customers, not partner customers, not World Chain customers, not Dito customers, paying World Mobile customers, opening up the blockchain, getting all these other things ready when these customers turn on. That just, again, it helps nullify that argument about what do you need a blockchain for. Maybe I just open up a can of worms with that, some people, but I think this is the route that we need to go. And again, when you are trying to make 18 things happen at once, in order for it to work smoothly and properly, if one of those lags behind too much, you're not in sequence. Things don't work out very well. And so it's great to see that they've maybe held off on certain things or delayed certain things or prepared certain things, over prepared certain things, so that it all comes together at the same time. And I think we're seeing that movement actually happen. And it's been for some people years where we've been excited about it, and now it's becoming reality. And then once this becomes reality, guess what happens next, right? Use your imagination. There's so many things. Not even that. I'm just talking about what World Mobile is able to do. Imagine what World Mobile is going to be able to do once their network is going, once their blockchain is running, once bigger companies come on and they say, okay, we see what you're doing with World Call. We see what you're doing with Dito. We see what you're doing with your own network, and the people like PwC that are coming on and utilizing this, SEW, putting 1.2 billion customers running through your software. We want that for us. Then where does World Mobile go from there? Then it goes beyond telecoms, goes beyond broadband, right? The sky's the limit, and maybe even the outer space is the limit when these things turn on and they work and people see it and they say, all right, now we have the confidence in you. We've seen that happen at MWC the last several years. They went from being the joke to being talked about, hey, I wonder if they could do that, to when the Aeroset worked. Holy crap, that was amazing. We want a part of that. Here's your award for the best innovation. To now partners with the GSMA. And you're seeing how things go. Once something works and it works well, and we can back it up, everything else opens up. And this is based the mouth of that river, right? It's going to get huge once we can say, yep, this is open up, this is on.
I love it. And you make a really good point that there's just so many things in the oven right now for World Mobile, right? And so just even today on the stream, what we've talked about, the presence in Pakistan, the upcoming presence in what's going to be the Philippines, the USA, the Dev Mainnet, the MOU in Corrientes. I'm talking about, this is just a single show, but there's just been so much going on. Mozambique, I don't want to say that we forgot about them. Obviously, the Aerostat was a massive step forward, but it's like there's so many countries, Zanzibar, where there's things happening all of the time. And so, again, I feel like we could probably speak about this for another hour, but I definitely want to be respectful and keep some things to discuss for next week's live stream, So let me just quickly break that down, and then I'll turn it over to either one of you who wants to pick up just a quick Rare Evil plug as we get ready to wind things up here. But we will be streaming this coming Saturday. So typically we go every other Saturday, but we will be streaming on the 12th at 7 p.m. UTC. So the same exact time that we started today. Make sure to turn on the notifications if you haven't. We will be joined by a very special guest. I don't want to tease anything out. I know that things also change, especially at the very last minute, but we will be joined by someone from the actual World Mobile team. And so, yes, Cal, my fingers are crossed here too. But that said, maybe Cal, we'll let you sort of close us out here. Do you want to break down Rare Evo, some of the key dates, and how people can get a 10% discount if they're looking to attend?
There it is. Use the code WMTX for 10% off. Rare Evo this year is going to be big. I mean, we here at the Alliance, we've been already in talks with them. We love Rare Evo team, and we're going big this year. They're going big, but we're also going big. And you guys, whoever was there at 2024, saw how massive was the World Mobile community, and we want to double these numbers this year. And we have now started making plans for side events. We're making plans how to better involve the World Mobile community so we can help World Mobile in any way, shape, and form to make this a really good and exciting and I guess an event that just involves everyone. I mean, I don't want to, go into really big details as what we have planned, but me and Rob, we've talked about things like the World Mobile Day. We want to, create a full day where people can come in and just share vision and mission and for example, like that we all know that World Mobile is launching the Hex Guardian program, right? HD1. So if it launches at that time, we want people to come in and share ideas of what worked in their hex, share marketing ideas, share how they were able to onboard or how they're actually planning to onboard customers onto the network. We want, EarthNode operators to come and offer their services. We've heard a bunch of people, offering services to run EarthNodes, and that's your best way to come through and offer your services there. We want, AirNode operators to come and share how their experience have been so far. So this is the type of event that actually allows you to in person be able to build these connections and I love in like IRL events. I try to attend a bunch of IRL events all the time just because of the type of connections you're able to build with people on the ground going to these events. It's going to be a really good event. So if you're on the border of going, you have that WMTX code that you can use, gives you that 10%. And I encourage you to go because there's going to be a lot of people this year that weren't able to go in 2024. They're going to be obviously going in 2025. And World Mobile has confirmed that they're getting a booth there. And not only getting the booth, but if you guys listen to our previous World Mobile Alliance space, it sounds like Mickey is going to be making a huge announcement on stage this year. So you got to be there to listen to it because it's super exciting every single year, and this year it's going to be no different for sure. So that's my plug for Rare.
Thank you. I definitely do appreciate that. And Rob, feel free to add anything if you'd like to. I did share a link for anybody who's, again, interested in attending. There's a blog basically breaking down the World Mobile community, what the Alliance has been doing, and a little bit of what Cal has just mentioned there with potential ideas and expectations, right, for the upcoming event. I've attended in person, obviously got to meet Rob, Cal, got to see them actually working at some of the booths, got to make some content with Mickey out there. Definitely a blast. And I know that the team from World Mobile doesn't take the opportunity lightly. They always gather all the AirNode and EarthNode operators, get a room on the side and break down, what's going on and what the team can expect or what the community can expect. And so as Cal mentioned, I'm expecting for that to be no different this year. I'll definitely be out there. Would look forward to shaking some of you guys' hands here from the community. I know that we're going to see a lot of OGs out there. Jeff was out there with us last year. I know Wave Notes was out there with us last year as well. Eric from Azure Ada, many other familiar faces here. And again, if you're new, this is a way to not just attend Rare Evo and talk Cardano and crypto, but to really plug yourself in here with an awesome and thriving community. As we've heard and just discussed today's updates, there is a lot coming down the pipes for World Mobile, and we're super early, obviously not financial advice. But if you want to understand, get plugged in and really build a network, this is by far one of the best ways and opportunities to go ahead and do so. So as we get ready to wind out here, typically we would go with some closing statements. We are a little bit over the scheduled time. Rob, I'll give you the opportunity to highlight anything at this point as it relates to Rare Evo or the Alliance.
Well, and for folks that have been to Rare the last 3 years, I mean, the Alliance was founded at Rare. And the last 2 years where we've been, coming into it with the Alliance and getting people to go there because, we have been pushing for these meetups and these things, all the different meetings and all the different meetups that we've had, the hangouts, the bars, the EarthNode operator meetings, ambassador meetings, going to shows afterwards. Last year I actually bought 60 tickets to Penn and Teller, and just to say, hey guys, I mean, people pay me back for them. Obviously, that's a lot of money, but it was just, hey guys, this is what the community is doing. We're gonna go see this, and I ran out of tickets. Everyone wanted to go, There's some great group photos of us at the Penn and Teller Theater, and people just want to be a part of it. They want to be together. They want to be hanging out, and we have a great community here at World Mobile, and so this gives some great opportunities. But all those meetings, all those things that have happened over the last couple of years, it's because the alliance has pushed for that, and World Mobile has basically said, we will show up. You guys tell us what you want us to do. And we've been able to make all these things happen because World Mobile just wants to be there with the community. What's great is I've been talking with the guys from Minutes Network, and they're coming. And now it's just a matter of what are they going to do things with World Mobile? Are they going to have their own thing next to World Mobile, or do their own thing separately? So just trying to figure out what all this looks like. But Minutes Network is going to be there. World Mobile is going to be there. People from the community that have built their own things are going to be there as well. And this, like Cal said, it's a great opportunity to connect with people, to find ways to build things together. You do it in person, it's a completely different than doing it on a Zoom call or something online. And the other thing is, last year, Fareed, you had your entire setup, right? Live streaming, right? We were doing Alliance live streams. There's World Mobile guys coming over. I remember at one point we're sitting there talking, and there was just a line of EarthNode operators and community members just literally watching us talk, and people just lining up just to be a part of what's happening. And maybe, and this is me just throwing this out there, maybe Fareed, we could get something set up where kind of like last year, where it's not the three of us, it's you and the community, right? It doesn't always have to be Rob and Cal doing stuff. And so getting other people involved. And so maybe there's some opportunity for some other live streams, additional content with some great people that are going to be there. We're looking to basically find whatever we can do to get people encouraged, involved, and motivated. And I promise you, if you go, you're not going to be alone unless you want to be, because we're coming in force, and we're looking forward to doing everything we can to make people feel a part of this community. So very excited to be there to do that, and I think that. I know it's been marked in my calendar since last August. I'm really, really excited for it. I had so much fun last year. So hopefully we get to see everybody there.
Yep. And if you are alone and Rob finds out, he will drag you and introduce you to everybody else that he knows. I definitely am looking forward to it. And I'm going to be doubling down in terms of content. It's sort of my approach. So you can definitely bet that, the same setup that we had last year, not only will that be there, I'm looking to add a couple of additional things to make the experience that much smoother. So for anybody who won't be there, definitely make sure to stay here, tuned into the channel, or tune into the channel. Also make sure to follow the official World Mobile Alliance X account, which is linked down below. That will do it here for today's stream. Again, thank you both gentlemen. Rob, you talked about me just doing a stream with the community. I'm not sure that I could ever get to anything World Mobile specific without either of you holding my hands through it. As always, again, if you guys are not following these two gentlemen, please make sure to do so. They help me out here when it comes to planning. I'm literally just the host here. They're the ones delivering the information. I cannot thank the both of you enough for taking. Yep, go for it.
I forgot to plug real quick was that you mentioned next week we're going to be doing another live stream on Saturday, but we're also going to be doing an Alliance X Space on Friday night U.S. time. So it'll be 9 p.m. Eastern. On Friday night, which is I think it's 1 a.m. Saturday morning UTC time. So it'll be definitely catering towards night owls in Europe or our friends in Oceania, Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia. But so we're gonna be doing the X Space on Friday night for us, and then the live stream on YouTube with you on Saturday morning as well. Try and provide a number of different things content wise. So hopefully people are available. They want to participate. Obviously, it's a little easier to participate on X when we can just bring you right up on the stage without anything else. But going to be I think it's going to be a busy week here at World Mobile anyway. Also, I have a feeling that Minutes is just ready to announce something as well. I don't know, but I think that having those options and those avenues to participate and do things with each other Friday night and then Saturday as well. So very, very busy next weekend for us here with the Alliance.
Thank you. And again, the announcements will go out before the streams and the X Spaces, so make sure to give that particular account a follow. And it's interesting because Rob, you actually just touched very briefly there on minutes, but we had Pierre asking about the TGE date. So Pierre, definitely stay tuned here. It sounds like there could be something big coming soon.
And Josh came out in the Telegram. What's happening here is, and this is my speculation for part of this, but just real briefly, the listing, there is a major listing that's coming, and we know there's a couple of different centralized exchanges, but I think one of them is a very big one. We're at their mercy, and I think they want to wait until that exchange is ready to launch to do the listing, to also do the TGE. And I think the reason is, if you think about it, and this is my speculation, the Minutes has not said a thing about this, and I could be completely wrong here. When we remember with World Mobile, when World Mobile came out and people could pre-sale buy it, it was 20 cents US. When it listed, I believe first on MEXC. I believe that was where it first listed, but it was 50 cents a token, right? There's a price that was set, and then what it did from there, you just look at the charts to figure that out. But there's a different price, and that I don't know how that price got set, but it was definitely an initial price before the market decided what the price was. With Minutes, we've had the pre-sale pricing, right, from anywhere from 24 to 30 cents US for the token, and I'm not sure if they just do a token generation event and now there's tokens in your wallet, and where is the liquidity? I don't know. What sets the price initially? I don't know what that looks like. So my unknowing self, it makes sense to say there's a listing along with the token generation event at the same time, because then now there's your tokens that you've pre-purchased in your wallet. There's the ability to buy. There's ability to start liquidity pools, but here's a baseline price where this is going to launch at, and then the market can take it where it wants to go, as opposed to, because right now, okay, I have tokens in my wallet. Cool. What do I do with them? I don't know. Can I sell them? What's the value? What's the price? Where do you swap them at? What do you do? So there's a lot that goes into it. So I think having a listing, at least to me, makes sense, that there is a designated initial price, and then let supply and demand go from there once there's a set price, because you'd hate for the token to come out and we all bought it at 30 cents, and it comes out and the first person says, I just want to dump this thing and give me 15 cents for it, before there's any sort of valuation's been made on that. So again, that's my theory. I could be completely wrong. Minutes hasn't said any of this. This is just me just talking at this point, but it makes sense to me how that works.
Thank you. And hopefully, Pierre, that's giving you a little bit of information and insights there. And just generally speaking, right, we will definitely be covering and giving you guys more updates as it relates and pertains to Minutes. And so by the time that, next Friday, when there's the X Space, if something develops, I know that Rob and Cal will definitely cover that. But if not, we'll definitely make sure to give you guys updates here that following day, which should be the 12th of April, which is when, again, we'll be live streaming here on the channel. That will do it here for today's stream. Pierre, you are welcome. Thank you for taking the time to tune in here. Again, CB, wishing you a speedy recovery following your back surgery. Looking forward to seeing you out there for the upcoming Rare Evo. Villian, you are completely welcome here again. The support is literally what keeps us going. We're trying to do our best here, continuously grinding, trying to keep the community together here. And if you found value in any of this, please make sure to smash that thumbs up on the way out. Again, huge thanks here to Cal and Rob. If you guys are looking for places to delegate your ADA, check out Clover Notes. He's got a pool. Check out the Trek pool. He's also, not the Trek pool, but check out Rob's Trek pool, which is also available for delegation. I believe that will do it here. Again, if you're attending Rare Evo, make sure to use the World Mobile Alliance code, which we've just shared with you guys there. And I've left the links as a part of the replay. That will do it. Again, for anyone who's just stopping by the channel for the first time, my goal is to help you find your footing here within the Cardano ecosystem, as well as Bitcoin, obviously covering here in-depth World Mobile, and all of their latest updates and developments here too. As we head out, if you guys have found this to be valuable, smash that thumbs up. Otherwise, we wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Accelerate. Till next week. We'll see you all then. Cheers, everybody. Take care, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.